Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and the LEGO group recently sent me the Summer 2022 Ninjago sets early. You may have already seen the reviews on the channel, but I also wanted to make a video comparing the all-new Golden Weapons that came in this wave to the previous versions of the weapons that we've gotten. Because the Golden Weapons have been around since 2011, and they've gone through a few different changes over the years. So I just want to take a look at each version we've gotten, and see for each weapon which is the best one. So without further ado, let's just get started. So we'll start with the very first Golden Weapon, the Scythe of Quakes. LEGO's produced a total of 4 different official Scythes of Quakes, and then I also have this one custom one I bought on the side here. I'll start by talking about the custom one. You'll see I have a custom version of every weapon, and if you want more details about like what the custom weapons actually are, I'll put a card in the top right corner, like who made them and where I got them, etc, etc. But the custom Scythe of Quakes is very cool. Obviously it's the most accurate one here. However, the thing was, because it's not official LEGO, it also was very fragile, so mine snapped in half while filming my unboxing of the original video. So yeah, I definitely think that's the best looking. But you can see, comparing it to the other ones, the actual mold on the newest Scythe of Quakes is very close to the custom one. So that's cool to see. They like brought the official shape in a little bit better. But yeah, let me move this one out of the way and take a look at the official versions. So taking a look at these, this is the original that was introduced in 2011. This one came in only one set in 2012. This was the one introduced for Ninjago Legacy, and this is the all-new one for 2022. The original one was, in my opinion, the best one up until this point. There's nothing too complex going on, but it's effective. And I think the reason I like it so much is because it looks really good dual-wielded, which is obviously how Cole carries it around in the show. And I still think it holds up really well to this day. Like, yeah, it is just made of basic LEGO parts, like that's just a tooth at the very end. There's nothing that makes this distinctly the Scythe of Quakes and not just a generic Golden Scythe. I still think it looks really good and is really effective for like what it wants to be. And it was definitely my favorite up until this point, and I think it still might remain my favorite. But let's go through the other ones. The 2012 one was interesting, but I'm honestly not a big fan of it. I know some people are a bigger fan of this than I am, but yeah, I don't like how it looks from the back, and I don't know, just the staff with the blade coming off. It's interesting, but it's just not for me. The Legacy version is one of the coolest looking ones, however, I don't like how fragile it is. It's really easy to accidentally separate this dragon hill at the bottom from it, and I think the worst part about it is you can't dual wield it, which I think is like an important aspect of the staff. And like, you're gonna have Cole's hands sort of hanging down here, but he's not actually grabbing onto the staff, and I think that's what really holds it back from you and why I really don't like this one. And then the all-new Season 15 version I think is good, but there's definitely still some issues with it. The highlight for sure is the new blade at the top. That shape is captured almost perfectly. I'm really glad like we have that now, but the handle does still look a little weird. This upper part's almost sword-like, so this tiny little handle at the bottom seems strange. It also seems like it's maybe a little bit too short, like comparing it to the original Scythe of Quakes, you can see it's a bit shorter, but if you add like the dragon hilt to the bottom from the Legacy Scythe of Quakes, then it feels too long. Additionally, it can't be held properly with 2 hands. However, you can see you can at least rest the top part in one of Cole's hands, so it still does look like he's holding onto it with 2 hands. But yeah, I think this could definitely be improved if we found some new piece to put at the bottom here. So if anybody has any suggestions, let me know in the comments. But other than that, I think it's really good. So let me know which Scythe of Quakes is your favorite in the comments below. For me personally, it's going to be one of these two. The original is simple yet effective, and the new one looks really good at the top, it just has some issues in the handle. Oh, and one last thing on Scythe of Quakes, if you're curious how the older versions fit into the new crystallized golden weapon piece, the original fits in like that. It might be a little tall like this, but it does still work. The 2012 variant also works, but of course the Legacy version does not. Next, moving to the Nunchucks of Lightning, we have the original, the Legacy ones, the all-new Ninjago crystallized ones, and then finally the custom ones. Custom ones, again, obviously the most accurate to the show. However, you can see the Legacy ones are pretty darn close. The only difference is the dragon hill is upside down. It should be facing upwards with a chain in between. And something that none of these get right is there really should be a trans blue chain in the middle, not the gold chain. Really wish they would do that at some point, because that would look super cool and fit this a lot better. But yeah, there's not as much to analyze here as with the Scythe of Quakes, because not as much has changed. Obviously, the dragon hilt is a huge improvement over like this generic hilt right here. The dragon hilt makes this very clearly a special and unique weapon, and does somewhat match the look of the Nunchucks of Lightning in the show. And comparing that to the all-new Nunchucks of Lightning, these do have a cooler and more detailed like dragon hilt. However, I just don't like where the chain connects. It connects in the middle weirdly, which makes them not really feel like nunchucks. Additionally, I feel like the hilts are just way too big. Like comparing them to the 2019 ones, you can see there's a significant size increase. And I feel like having Jay hold them, like that doesn't look good, but putting them upward looks even more awkward. With the Legacy versions, it all just feels a lot more natural, so yeah, these are going to remain my favorite for now. However, when it comes to the new crystallized blade pieces, the new ones are the only ones that fit in there. So I understand why LEGO made new nunchucks for this purpose, but for when they're not in the blade, I'm going to stick to the Legacy ones personally. Then moving to the Shurikens of Ice, we have the originals from 2011. These ones I believe were originally introduced in Possession just as generic Shurikens, but they were used as the Shurikens of Ice in 2019. And then we have the all new ones for 2022, and then finally the custom ones right here. Once again, obviously the custom one's most accurate to the show, but these ones definitely could not be made physically in LEGO because you can see that's not actually a bar. And while minifigures still can't hold on to this, LEGO themselves would never release a piece like this. So taking a look at the official ones, you can see from 2011 to 2016 there's a clear improvement. These are nearly the same piece, the only difference is there's a more textured handle on the newer ones. But then comparing those to the 2022 versions, I'm mixed as to which ones I like more. I definitely prefer the edges on the old ones, but the blades on the new ones are super cool. Additionally, the old ones are rubber while the new ones are plastic, so that rubber allows for like much more ability to pose it in Zane's hand. So you can have him hold it in like this, for example, but with the new one, because it's hard plastic, that posability is a lot more limited. So yeah, honestly, I'm not sure which of these two I prefer. Again, you guys have to let me know in the comments, but I'm torn. I think there's benefits to both of these, and I think the ideal Shuriken of Ice would be the size of this one, but rubber, and it would maintain these large blades, but also put those textured handles. But for right now, I think these are both like equally good. And of course, these all work on the crystallized blades. So here's the originals, here is the 2016 version, and then here is the 2022 version. And then here we have the Sword of Fire, which has had the least iterations. 2022 is actually the first time they've ever changed it. But yeah, that's the 2011 version, that's the 2022 version, and this is the custom version. You can see why they haven't changed it when you compare the custom version to the original version, and that's because they are nearly identical. The only difference is there's a little bit of hilt at the bottom right here, and the custom version's just a little bit smaller. But yeah, they captured the shaping pretty perfectly with the original, so I see why they wouldn't change it for so long. Comparing the new Sword of Fire to the original though, yeah, the new one's just straight up bad. With how incredible the original looks, this is just such a downgrade in every single way. It doesn't even look like the same weapon. Putting it in Kai's hands, like yeah, there you go, the original looks awesome, sick. But this new one just sort of seems like a machete. Yeah, that's just not the Sword of Fire at all. Now it makes a little more sense when you crystallize it. If you slide the blade in like this, I can kind of believe that this is a crystallized version of this. But yeah, without the crystallized attachment, the piece just doesn't look good. And if you're wondering if you could crystallize the original, not really. If you want to force it in there, you can, but you can see it's at like an awkward angle, so I'd recommend you stick to the new version for the crystallization, because I don't think it looks bad like this. It's just on its own, it's not good at all. And if you're curious, here's how the new one looks using a dragon hilt, which does improve it and does make for a very cool looking sword, but it still doesn't feel like the Sword of Fire. So yep, I'm definitely going to be sticking with this one, and unless they make the minor improvements that the custom one did, this will be my Sword of Fire forever. So now that we've looked at all of them, here's my favorite version of each of the golden weapons. We have the original Sword of Fire, the Legacy Nunchucks of Lightning, and then for the Shurikens and the Scythe, I couldn't decide on a favorite. So for the Shurikens, I'm between 2016 and 2022, and for the Scythe, I'm between 2011 and 2022. Let me know in the comments what your favorites of each of the weapons is, and what do you think of the new versions as a whole? Do you think they're an improvement, or do you think they really shouldn't exist? But I think that's about all I have to say for this video. Go check out my early reviews of the Summer 2022 Ninjago sets if you haven't seen them yet. If you enjoyed this video, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO and Ninjago videos like this almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.